What's your favourite thing about working with Australian Specialist Hub?
The people are just so lovely. I'm a hybrid practitioner, so a lot of the time I'm chatting to people on the phone, or I'm at home and they're, maybe in Sydney, like who knows where they are. The work brings such variety. It really allows me to grow as a practitioner.
Welcome to the Consult by Australian Specialist Hub, where medicine meets the law. Today we have occupational therapist Madelaine DeFazio joining us today.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The first question we wanted to know was what got you into occupational therapy and kept you drawn towards that occupation?
Yeah, of course. So I guess myself, I've always been a very social, people-based person. And I've always, loved building relationships with people and, really finding out the nitty-gritty details about their life, which sort of, led me to explore OT as a profession. I actually started in exercise science at university, and then at that stage thought, you know what, I think I, really want to go a little deeper. One of my girlfriends was studying OT, and I just absolutely loved the idea of the profession, that multifactorial approach, looking at all areas of the human being, what sort of makes us tick, what challenges we have, and how can we find solutions for those. And through that, I, started to pursue the career, which, I love. I've been in the industry for 8 or so years now, so I'll be here to stay, I think.
And it's such a broad area of OT. There's so many different pockets that you can
100%.
Explore. There's always something new,
Yes.
always different courses. Whether
Exactly.
it's your home improvements or
Yeah.
home modifications,
Yeah.
your driving assessors,
Yeah.
autism.
Pediatrics, children, there's just the opportunities are endless. And in saying that, there's all varied ages as well. Lots of flexibility in working environments, which is great too. So you can really grow as you sort of go through the lifespan of, what you choose to do, whether it's having kids. So it's a wonderful career, and I'm just so blessed to practice it.
Fantastic. And what does a typical month look like for you working with Australian Specialist Hub?
Yeah, so I guess every month is so different, which is, again, ties in with that really nice variability, flexibility. I've actually, sometimes travel interstate for work. So generally, I've usually have quite a busy caseload with Australian specialists. So, we're doing usually 4 to 6 assessments a month. My approach is definitely quality over quantity. So for 1 week, we generally prioritise 1 assessment, which would look like 2 to 3 hours to meet and assess the client, really review their needs, where the gaps are and how we can fill them. And then the vast majority of the other time is, reviewing our medical documentation very thoroughly, anything collateral, and, really writing that comprehensive report. So, which can take sort of, around 20 hours. So we're sort of 20 hours plus at this point. So, yeah, so it generally varies, but, different cases, different clients, sometimes different states, but the goal is no more than 2, I like to say 2 assessments per week. Just to really hone in on that quality-centric care, which is what I always aim to provide.
I think they go for a lot longer than people anticipate.
100%. Yeah, completely. I mean, I think the longest I've ever done in an assessment was around 5 hours just for that process. It's an incredibly detailed process, and we definitely will stay as long as we have to really get the result that we're after.
Is there any tips or tricks that you would suggest to our referring parties, our lawyers, case managers, when they're sending someone for an assessment with you to run them through that process? Would you say there's any particular information that you would recommend that they have? And then maybe run us through a little bit of the process of how you go about your assessments.
Yeah, sure. I mean, generally our lawyers are really great with the structure of their letters. And I think as long as we've got the condition, the age of the client, what the gap is, what they're seeking and why, and then just clearly outlining the schedule, as much background information is important. So I find the more information the better, and if we can get a lot of the varied information from as many different people, that really helps us guide the process as easy as possible. So generally more is more. And always just having that extent of knowledge so we can really review the whole scope of information and make us really help our decision making process. So generally generally, as long as we, sometimes I've had briefs that have very minimal sort of information, whether that was, part of the process. And then we've had vast amounts. So again, it does vary depending on the complexity of the case, but yeah, as much as we can is really preferred. Yeah.
It's all about unpacking the case.
Yeah.
OT reports can be so useful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of our reporting is, very objective and very visual based. We are often looking for, really demonstration of, how do you actually perform that activity of daily living? And, an activity of daily living is everything we do. So, looking at, how the person might shower, how, they've had to alter their technique in order to do that activity, whether it's getting in and out of bed. I really like to see the clients in all aspects of their home environment, just to, again, help us form that picture. And, if they've had an injury or they've got a disability, what is the gap in how they used to do something to now? It really does just, again, come back to that picture we're trying to form. And I really like to tell a story. So in my reporting, I generally like to really form that whole person, story of their life, and how things have differed for them for whatever reason that might be.
Actually, you've just reminded me of a question.
Yeah.
That the team gets a few times. We get a client ring up and say, I want to book an OT assessment.
Yeah.
Okay, what type of OT assessment would you like? And there can be a little bit of confusion there sometimes. Okay, what's an ADL? What's a functional capacity assessment? Okay, there's driving OTs. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through maybe the
types?
main difference between the ADLs, functional assessments?
Of course, yeah. So the functional assessment is the most common that we generally see, especially in the medico-legal space. I mean, we're completing a complete functional capacity assessment, and I guess the name kind of suggests what it might be. We're looking at every single level of function. So we're looking at personal activities of daily living, or we sometimes refer to that as paddle, cattle, which is your community aspect of ADL, domestic, which again ties in with, cleaning, housekeeping, meal preparation, anything sort of done in the home environment, and then personal. I think I mentioned that one though. And then instrumental. So instrumental is those tasks that are a little bit more sort of complex, such as, money management, booking your health appointments, anything that's very routine based. So I guess back to the question, the differences would be that functional comprises of all those sort of paddle, daddle, cattle, and IADLs. Sometimes we also look at home assessments. So that might be assessing that person's environment. A lot of the time, more commonly, the bathroom.
The home modes have been a huge part of the NDIS tribunal.
Yeah, massive. And generally, that's, we look at a lot of those home environments. Sometimes kitchen components, entry and exit level components, whether that's looking at ramps or rails. So that's another common one.
Emergency alarms was a big one that I see coming up, and I thought that is so important. It's something that not always is coming to mind. If someone is hearing impairments, that they can't hear sirens, they might see a visual light or something like that. And the complexities of installing them in the home versus in a wet environment such as the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. And more of that, just so they feel that level of security, safety and comfort. That would probably tie into the equipment side of things. We see a lot of equipment assessments for people that require assistive technology, which looks at wheelchair specifications. We might get recliners, hoists for people that, may have had a stroke that can no longer comfortably transfer in and out of bed for themselves. So, they might have a hoist which can, ensure they transfer effectively in each environment of the home. So there's just so much that we offer and so much value we can add to people's lives, which is what, I genuinely love so much about the career. We can add so much for people, and I often love just seeing that full circle approach where, you really see them from the start and you see them grow and you see them work through their therapy and then they sort of, get what they need and they can really create that independence of their life, which is everything. That's what we all want. We just want to be independent and live fulfilling lives.
These people's livelihoods. This assessment might be sort of the day-to-day for us, but this is the first assessment for the year for some of these people. And we're seeing people when they're sometimes at their worst. They're very, very anxious, very emotive, very heightened.
Absolutely.
Is there any particular cases you've got in your fund that they're quite unique and challenging?
Yes, so many. And particularly in this medico-legal industry, I think a lot of the cases that we see the most complex. So we're really, we're seeing someone where they may have gone through the most distressing event of their lifetime. So often highly emotive, highly strung, anxiety is high. It's often quite a long, extensive process. So it's, we're really seeing people at that point of their life. So it's, really important that we come in from a lens of, showing empathy, building that rapport as well is always significant, and something I always try to ensure that I do as a practitioner. I think that's definitely a skill that I, can carry really true. And it also allows us to get the information that we need as well, which building those, relationships can ensure that we can really form that accurate picture.
What's your favourite thing about working with Australian Specialist Hub?
Oh my gosh, I love working for Australian Specialist Hub. The people are just so lovely. We've got, and it's quite funny because I'm a hybrid practitioner. So a lot of the time I'm chatting to people on the phone, or I'm at home and they're, maybe in Sydney, like who knows where they are. But honestly, I always feel so supported. The work brings such variety and such, really allows me to grow as a practitioner.
Do you have any wise words of wisdom for maybe another occupational therapist that was looking to get into medico-legal work but is sitting on the fence?
Yeah, totally. I think knowledge is power always. So, honestly, just really trying to educate yourself, really try to maybe do a little bit of work experience as well, maybe under a practitioner. I would 100% look into those avenues just network, talk to people, reach out on LinkedIn. I know when I sort of was looking into the industry, a colleague of mine at the time was practicing, and I started, 5 years ago, I went around with her, and I actually was able to view and go to an assessment with her, and I could see the process. She was, really pivotal to my career and the start of the career. So I would honestly just, really use your network and, really see if it's something you can see yourself in. It'll give you such challenges and really broaden who, you are as a practitioner. So I'd highly suggest those tips, definitely as a starting point at least.
We've got a webinar series coming
Awesome.
up. It's going to be very interactional. So this idea actually came on the back of some of the work we did with the Australasian Pain Society and their OT subgroup.
Yeah.
And some of the feedback was that some people feel quite isolated and, bouncing ideas off the peers, or just not knowing when they can go and shadow assessments, and just simple things like that. So we're going to be running that quarterly, which is super exciting.
Oh, that
and it's
sounds
going to be free.
Oh.
It's going to be free. Anyone can come.
100%. And I think as hybrid practitioners, you definitely do experience that level of isolation. It's so true. So and what an incredible resource where people can, connect and grow and learn, most importantly, and really strengthen their practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wins.
Awesome.
Everyone benefits from these types of things.
Yeah, because I saw there was, some more on the medical side. There was some webinars with, pain specialists and things. So similar line with that then.
Yeah, but just all OTs.
But all OTs.
And national. We've got OTs everywhere. We've got
Cool.
OTs in Perth that have been asking for it. We've got OTs in Queensland. So it would be fun to do an in-person event, which I'm sure we'll do down the track. Yeah. But just giving the access to everyone.
Totally.
Great.
Oh, brilliant. Sounds good.
And we have some really cool OTs.
Absolutely.
They're a humble brag, but we do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're a fun bunch of people, and we're people. So, I mean, it sounds like a perfect event for sure.
And traditionally, we've always asked our guests a series of rapid fire questions.
Oh, fun. I love it.
Yeah, so
cool.
we'll move into that.
Yeah, love.
So if you weren't an OT, what would you be doing?
So I wanted to do weather presenting when I was in high school. I just love the idea. I know it sounds really corny, but I love the idea of just having your hair and makeup done every day. It sounds really shallow, but I just loved it. And, it seemed quite glamorous. So, I was really interested in that sort of around year 11 and year 12.
And then what was the journey from that to OT?
I know.
It's a bit of a 180.
It was a big backflip. I ended up having a gap year actually, and I actually found myself doing a little bit of disability support work, and I actually got to meet a lot of OTs through doing that. And that's what sort of got me to investigate a little further on it. So
What's the best thing about working in medico-legal?
So many, but I guess it's, variability, flexibility. No 2 days are the same, honestly. And you get a variety of different cases and different ages. Most of all, it's just, I think that's the big one. No 2 days are the same.
You never know what's coming in the door. It keeps
You
it
never
very
know.
exciting.
You're like, you get a letter and you're like, what am I going to see today? Honestly, certain things I see, I'm like, wow, unless I did this role, I would never have heard of that certain thing. So yeah, it's interesting. Keeps life interesting.
That's probably one of my favourite parts of the job.
Yeah, yeah. And you would see it too on the, seeing everything that comes through. Yeah, it's fascinating.
What's one part of your job that surprises people at the dinner party?
Well, it's actually interesting. A lot of my friends were a little bit unfamiliar with the profession of OT as a whole. So, yeah, that's one thing. But, the fact that we work with so many different professionals, like for one, we work with lawyers, we work with doctors, which is quite a given. But, we're working with teachers. We just work with such a variety of different people every day. And that's, again, if you're a people person, you're going to love it. Yeah.
What does an OT do to switch off?
Oh, goodness, so many things. I just love going for long walks on the beach with my little dog, just spending time with friends, coffee catch-ups. Love, the wellness sense as well. A bit of a fun fact about me is that I actually own a wellness centre. So I love switching off, going there, sauna, love the little hot, cold pools, and just, doing exercise. I think exercise is a great way to de-stress. Me personally, I love Pilates. So, it just, benefits us in all ways, but as I know that by far, having a de-stress and a stress relief is just, it's everything, because, our lives can get very busy. So it's all about just taking moments for you and whatever that might look like.
Hot spa or cold plunge?
Oh my God. I'm getting better at the cold plunge. My partner loves it. He could sit in there for like 3 minutes. I'm honestly lucky if I reach 30, but it's like a challenge. It's like a mental challenge. And then go to the hot and just, veg out in there. It's perfect. So definitely more hot for sure.
I admire the mental strength of anyone who gets more than their toe in that freezing cold water.
And it's about, and then it forces you to just be like, deep breathe. You've got to set into it, sink into it a little bit. And it's like you've achieved something for the day, I feel.
Have you time yourself?
Yeah, I do. I've got a timer on the wall, and as long as I can sit in there for 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, break. And then you go into the hot, and then it's such a treat, especially in Melbourne winter. And then you would, you'd go back again, and you'd try and push yourself a little further.
Coffee or tea?
Oh my gosh, coffee all the way. I absolutely love it in the morning. I'll get up and have a big glass of water, but then I'll go and get my morning latte. It sets the tone for the day, and honestly, it's those little habits, little routines. Sometimes one or two, but I'll try and just have my one before midday, and I'll be good to go.
The morning ritual.
The morning ritual. It's all routines, habits, whatever helps us get through the days.
Come down to tell them.
Yes, please do. And we're happy to help out with tailor your wellness needs as well. Again, holistic health. It all links back together. So we love it all.
Because I think burnout in our industry, particularly in the legal industry, is a huge thing. And then just taking that time out for yourself is so important to unwind from the day. Yeah. You're dealing with a lot of very, very serious cases.
100%. Yeah. And I know that a lot of the people we do see, I've got so many lawyers that do attend, so many health practitioners, and a lot of them are on the brink of burnout. We're all doing so much. We're all trying to be everywhere, do everything. It's just so important to take, even if it's 30 minutes for yourself a day, just to, get in a sauna, switch away from technology. It's just absolutely everything. So I know for me personally, it just resonated deeply with, my core values. And, health and well-being's at the centre. I know that we can see how life can change instantly for people. So really just having that as first and foremost, no matter what we do. I'm really passionate about it.
Thank you so much for coming on the Consult by Australian Specialist Hub. It's been wonderful having you here, putting on those OT lenses and looking inside what's really important to the occupation.
Oh, thank you so much, Hannah. I've honestly had a ball. I can't believe we've been sitting here for 40 minutes. That was so much fun, truly. Thank you.